Hi everybody, my name is Danielle and welcome to my channel. This channel is Passport on a Plate, and I wanted to start this channel because several years ago I was so lucky to be able to study abroad for a semester in Mallorca, Spain. And while I was there, I started a food Instagram account to be able to post pictures and share with family and friends back home. And I continued that food Instagram account after I returned to the United States. And now I would like to start this channel to be able to share recipes of amazing foods that I've had over the years and hopefully highlight international cuisines. And if you are cooking from home, hopefully you can try out these recipes and bring your passport to your plate, so that even if you're unable to travel right now for any number of reasons, hopefully you can feel like you're experiencing exciting new destinations. So the recipe we're going to be making today is something that I ate many years ago when I went to Hawaii with my family. And we went to this amazing cafe. It was right along the ocean. It had an incredible view, and it was a warm summer day, and we had breakfast there, and I had banana macadamia nut pancakes, and they had coconut syrup on top. They were so good, so we're going to be recreating that recipe today. So let's get started. Alrighty, so we're going to start with a rundown of the ingredients that we need for today. I've got my pancake ingredients right here in front of me. I have my coconut syrup ingredients right here next to me, and I've got my banana and macadamia nuts right behind me here. I have most of my ingredients pre-measured, which I like to do just because it's quicker to throw it together. You don't have to do this, however, whatever works best for you. So for my pancakes today, I'm going to use 1 cup of all-purpose flour, as well as 2 tablespoons of sugar. We've got 2 teaspoons of baking powder, as well as a teaspoon of salt, and we're going to use a single egg over here, as well as 1 cup of milk. I have whole milk, but you can use whatever milk is best for you, whether that be almond milk, soy milk, any milk will do. And then we're going to use 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil for those pancakes. And then for our coconut syrup, we've got a can of coconut milk. Separation is natural with coconut milk, so if it's your first time using this ingredient, you're going to want to get it mixed back together. I have not mixed it entirely in this can. You're going to have solids up top and liquid on the bottom. If I try to mix it, it's going to make a big mess, so I'll just mix it in my bowl before I add the rest of my ingredients. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of sugar over here, as well as a teaspoon of cornstarch. That's going to thicken up your syrup a bit. And then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. With vanilla, you really want to use the real stuff. You're going to taste a difference. So ideally, if you can get pure vanilla extract, it is worth it. It's going to be a really good ingredient. I've got some butter right over here for our skillet, just so our pancakes aren't sticking. And I do have my skillet right here already preheating. It's a nice square skillet. I really like this one because with the square skillet, you can fit 4 pancakes at the same time. And the more you can fit, the faster you can cook them. The faster you cook, the faster you eat. So with this square skillet, it's really nice, just plugs into the wall. If you have a square skillet pan for your stove, that is great as well. Or even a round pan, whatever you have will work for your kitchen. Okay, so we're gonna get started with our coconut syrup because that does need some time on the stove to cook while we work on our pancake mixture. So I'm gonna start with the coconut milk that I have here. I've mixed it together to get it a bit of a better consistency. And I'm going to pour that into this small saucepan that I have over here so that we can get this going on the stove so that it can thicken up into a sauce. And I'm going to try to not make a huge mess as I do this. Alrighty, so we've got this coconut milk here going into the saucepan. I want to make sure I've got all of it in there. And again, that'll come together more fully as we cook it on the stove. And then we've got our 1/2 cup of sugar, and sprinkle this in. Over there we've got our cornstarch, a very important ingredient. Again, sprinkle that in. And then we are going to have our 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. Find a nice 1/2 teaspoon measurement. You can totally reuse measuring cups, teaspoons, tablespoons for different ingredients as long as you're careful how you're doing it. So you're not trying to use a dry ingredient after a wet ingredient, that sort of thing. Got my vanilla in here, ready to go. And I'm gonna get this on the stove behind me. We're gonna let that work while we work on our pancakes. Okay, so while our syrup is working behind me on the stove, we're gonna get our pancake batter ready. So I have a bowl and a whisk right over here. We're gonna start with our dry ingredients. So I'm gonna take this cup of flour, pour it in right here. Make sure that's all in. Got some coconut milk on my hand in the process, as well as 2 tablespoons of sugar. I'm gonna add in right here. And then our 2 teaspoons of baking powder as well, right in there. Get that whisked together. Start the mixture, and then we don't want to forget our 1 teaspoon of salt. Finding a teaspoon measurement here. We're using those dry measuring devices so that I'm not washing everything in my kitchen at the end of this video. Do not do what I almost just did. Always measure salt over something other than your mixing bowl. Because the one time you measure it over your bowl is going to be when it comes out too fast and you're going to have too much salt in your mix, and then you can't take it out once it's in there. So you want 1 teaspoon, measure it over a sink, another bowl, anything other than the bowl you already have your ingredients in. So we've got that ready to go. Give our dry ingredients a good whisk, get them together. Right, don't have to mix for long. And then I'm just making a nice little center to put my wet ingredients into. So we'll start with our whole milk. It's gonna be 1 cup of whole milk. Take this over here. Alrighty, so we've got our 1 cup of milk, trying to pour it right in the center there. Good to go with that. And then next we're gonna add in our egg. Everyone has different egg technique that they like best, or what works for them. I like to crack my egg on a flat surface like the countertop. Ideally give it a nice firm tap, too light and it's not going to crack enough to open, too hard and you're going to smash the egg on the countertop. So a nice moderate tap on the counter should give you a crack that you can open your egg with. And then we're going to finish up with our 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Grabbing the tablespoon right here. Keeping an eye on our syrup so that it doesn't burn. A few moments ago off camera, unfortunately, you won't get to see it, but it almost bubbled over behind me. And that's why you always want to use all of your senses when you're cooking. Because without even looking at it, I heard it bubbling up behind me and was able to turn the heat down so that it didn't boil over. But you want to make sure that you're paying attention to everything when you're cooking so that you're not burning or any sort of thing like that. So let's get our pancake batter whisked together. You want to whisk it long enough that it's combined, but you don't want to overmix it. And don't exactly do what I'm doing because I seem to be making a bit of a mess, but that's okay. It's cooking, it's supposed to be fun. I'm gonna make sure that you get your yolk split open, get that all mixed in well, not over mixing to avoid creating a tougher batter. So you're gonna overactivate your gluten, but mixing just enough to get everything combined to a nice thick pancake batter. Trying to get all of the clumps out that you can, but if you have some clumps, it's fine. And we will be ready to go, waiting on my skillet to finish preheating a bit, keeping an eye on our syrup, and then we're gonna have some pancakes. Alrighty, so we've got our skillet preheated here. I wanted to change the camera angle a little bit so that you can see the pancakes cooking, because that's the exciting part, of course. So I've got my skillet preheated to around 350. This skillet actually has a nice little marker that says pancakes on it. So this is ready to go. I have my toppings over here as well. So these macadamia nuts, this is how they came in the store as the whole nut. So I just chopped them up so that they're smaller pieces like this. I just chopped them by hand with a chef's knife so that it's not an overwhelming flavor of macadamia. And then I sliced up my banana already. It has oxidized a little bit, so it does look a bit less appealing than when it was first sliced. But the bananas that I bought are these nice, perfectly yellow bananas. I really like my bananas to be without any spots. However, if you like yours more ripe with some spots or even a little underripe with some green still, whatever bananas you like will work. And if perhaps you don't eat nuts, you have a nut allergy, you can do these, of course, without the macadamia. use white chocolate instead, or just have banana pancakes. If you don't like bananas, you can do macadamia white chocolate pancakes. You can really make any variation that you want with this recipe. So we're going to start with a pat of butter that I want to get on my skillet here so that we can get this melting. You want to be careful. It's a little hot there. You want to be careful not to burn your butter, because then all of your pancakes are not going to taste good. And you want to get that spread. Be careful not to hit your skillet with the knife because you could scratch it. I like to use a 1/3 cup measure and go a little short on that. And this is a thinner pancake batter, so it spreads a little more. So you can make them even smaller, but they are going to cook nicely. I'm actually just going to put this third one right in the middle here so that I have plenty of room. So we've got these cooking. You can hear them already cooking. And so I want to get my banana pieces on here real quick. Throw them all on. And then when we flip these pancakes, these bananas are going to caramelize on the skillet, and they're going to be absolutely delicious. Let's get some banana pieces on all of these. Grab some macadamia nuts, sprinkle these on. I've got some pieces and kind of more some shavings, so that'll be really nice texture and nice balance. The syrup is still cooking. You want to give that syrup plenty of time to thicken up on the stove. So that's okay. That can take its time while we make these pancakes. I'm going to push that back on there. And hopefully they'll be ready to go. So let these cook for a minute here. And what you want to watch for is bubbles on top of your pancakes. So that's how you know they're ready to flip. So that way you're not peeking under them every few seconds. You want to let them get a nice color on the bottom of that pancake, and you can just wait and watch for bubbles. I'm gonna give it a couple more seconds. You'll see these bubbles that are starting here. That's how you know they're almost ready. And I did put some heavy toppings on these pancakes. You're gonna wanna make sure you get your spatula all the way under to flip them. Okay, so I wanna say I've given these close to about 45 seconds to a minute now, and I'm seeing lots of bubbles. Yes, and they are perfectly golden on the other side. As you can see, some of the macadamia nuts did come off, but that's okay. When you start under the edge and then push your spatula swiftly under the pancake. Be careful, don't do what I just did, which is splattering some of that hot butter off of your skillet. And they have a nice golden color on the bottom. These are so beautiful. And now they're going to caramelize that banana on the other side, and then they'll be ready to plate. All right, so we've got everything nice and finished up. I have my pancakes and my coconut syrup right here. I did pull the coconut syrup off the stove the last few minutes so that it could cool down, and that'll help it thicken to that nice syrupy consistency. So that's right here in a bowl to the side. It was such an amazing aroma when that coconut syrup was cooking, such a sweet and coconut smell. And I've got my pancakes right here. They're all done. So I have them stacked up nicely. And if you can see right on top here, it's a beautiful golden pancake, nice and fluffy. We've got those caramelized bananas on top that are absolutely delicious. So let's get some syrup on top here. Got a ladle that I'm sure is meant to be used for something other than syrup. We'll get a nice little drizzle across the top here. And then we are ready to go. Let's grab some silverware and let's take a bite. Okay, I've got a fork and knife ready. Let's try these pancakes. They are so good. So good. You can taste the banana, you can taste the coconut. These remind me so much of the pancakes that I had in Hawaii. And hopefully if you're making this recipe with me, you love them just as much. I hope that this video brought you lots of joy and good eats. Please like and subscribe below, and I will catch you all next time to bring your passport to your plate. Bye.